Some of the best trades you can take are the most overlooked trades. Today is no exception. I'm going to walk you through one such trade. I actually wrote about it on my X accounts a couple of months ago, and since then, the trade has actually gone up over 60%. And what really struck me is that nobody was talking about this potential trade. Everyone was fascinated by the stock markets, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, S&P 500, or gold, or even Nvidia and Tesla, but nobody was paying attention to this minor player. So what was this trade? This is what I was telling you about, guys. Silver has gone up almost 70% since October 2025. Currently, the price is up over 56% since the breakout here of the 50 level. And when I was writing about this setup, we were basically around the beginning of October. This must have been around this level here, the 7th or 8th of October. And since then, the price has went up at some point 80%. Now it's down to 66%. I usually never share hindsight trade or trades that happened already, and I haven't taken them myself. But this is something I wrote about just for a future reminder of myself. The next time I experience a similar scenario, I should definitely be thinking of why I didn't take or why I wouldn't take this trade and miss it, because this trade was really obvious, guys. So at the time of writing this tweet, I was basically, the price was around the 47 mark. I was looking at the 50 level. So this was probably one of the easiest trades of the year, as I wrote on X. And the reality is I didn't really take it myself. So I can't be really telling about this trade if I didn't take this trade, but in fact, it is very educational for myself as well to share this with you, because this is going to stay on my channel and I can come back to it and rewatch it. And this hides a lot of valuable information. So first of all, if I took these trades and held only to the 50 zone, I would have made around 7% return. But the reality is that if this trade was held over to this moment, the current moment, this gives us around 65% return. And the reality is that probably if you're taking a swing trade, you wouldn't hold that long, depending on the fundamentals, of course, depending on the technicals, depending on the strategy that you're using. This potentially wouldn't have been an 80% return trade for a lot of traders. But even if you held these trades up to the 70 mark, this is a good 50% return. And doing this post-trade analysis is so wrong, guys. It's wrong on so many occasions. I don't really like doing this. I'm only doing this because I mentioned about this silver trade to all of my Twitter or X followers, and I really think that I missed on a great trade myself. So I'm more doing this for myself than anyone else. Otherwise, I should not be doing this in a hindsight perspective. Hindsight trading doesn't work. I'm only doing this because I saw potential setup to go long. I didn't do it myself. Of course, I'm kicking myself for not doing this, because this would have been a great swing trade. But nevertheless, what would have been a good place to enter this trade is potentially, if I zoom in this area here, I can show you where exactly I'm looking that this could have been a great long trade. So apart from all of the technicals, let's take a step back and see why has silver gone up significantly in the past few months. So the number one reason, of course, is the geopolitical situation, and silver is a safe haven asset class. So a lot of investors have pushed money into this precious metal. Silver and gold have gone up. This is one of the major reasons. The other reason is the Fed expectations and the macro real interest rates. The global expectations of lower or later than expected US interest rate hikes have potentially been one of the reasons as well. And there is one less talked about factor that has led to the increase of the silver price. And this has been Chinese export licensing controls on silver. This has effectively restricted a large chunk of the global silver flows, which have significantly squeezed the value of the metal and pushed the prices higher. And of course, the weak US dollar trend, this has also pushed the price of the silver higher. So those are all, I would say, the most obvious reasons of why silver has gone up in the recent months. Alrighty, guys, the technicals. This is something that a lot of traders are very, very interested to know more about. Our first indication that this could have been a great long entry was around the beginning of October. So here, as you can see, you had a pin bar, and this was followed by a bullish engulfing pattern. Then you had another bullish engulfing pattern here. So one of the major things that was telling me that this is a crying buy was the fact that we are approaching the psychological level of $50, and this is something that a lot of traders are looking. If you actually miss that trade, there was another possible re-entry here. So initially, this was a level which turned into an important zone. If we actually draw this zone, this would look like that. So this was a micro demand zone. And looking from the daily perspective, this is the daily chart. This was our next place, which printed pin bar or pin bar-like candle. So there was a huge rejection here, and this pulled a lot of buyers. As you can see, the next two candles are quite bullish, especially the second one. Then the price again retested this demand zone, and then from here, it just shot up higher and higher and higher and higher. So again, from a technical perspective, we had two very strong signs that this could be a great place to enter. And I would say the second one, which was a double confirmation between a candlestick pattern and a micro demand zone, this was probably the best entry. If, for instance, you missed that, there were a few other places that you could have re-entered. For instance, when the price pierced through the $50 price level and then it retested it, there was another pin bar which formed here, and this could have been again another very good place to enter in a long trade. Now, the reason why I was not trading it is not an excuse. The reason is because I was mostly preoccupied with my day trading system. We had an amazing December. We had 5 double-digit returning trades, so I was mostly spending my time there. But for my swing trading followers, these were 3 amazing places to enter in a long trade. Of course, there were other places. If you switch down to the 4-hour chart, you might potentially be able to even fine-tune those entries. So here, how would it look like 4-hour perspective? Again, you had a rejection here. This could have been a great entry. Here, you had an inside bar. Here, you had a bullish engulfing pattern. So all of those would have been great confirmations, reducing the risk. So instead of taking it from the daily chart, you could have taken those trades from the 4-hour chart and reduce the risk, because this would have given you probably twice as good entry, meaning 2 times lower stop loss that you could have used if you based your entry on the 4-hour time frame. Silver didn't just rally, it exploded up over 70% in just a few months, and almost nobody's talking about it. Why? This movement isn't just hype or retail frenzy, guys. It is perfect storm of supply stress, geopolitical risk, and smart money together with technicals. By the time the headlines catch up, most likely the real opportunity will be gone. So, do you think you still have time to catch up with this trade? I'll see you in the next video, guys.